Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Nazir, Perek Ches, Chapter 8, Mishnah Aleph, Mishnah 1. Shnei Nazirim. There were two Nazirim. Shamar lahen echad, that one person said to them, Ra'isi echad mikem shenitma. I saw that one of you became tamei, beni yedea ezem mikem, and I don't know which one it was. That is the story here. The story is two Nazirim are in a situation where they have a doubt how they become tamei or they not become tamei. And the case is, as the Mishnah lays out, one person said to them, I saw that one of you became tamei, but I don't know which one. So what happened there exactly? So the example that the Bar Tanura cites is, the person says like this, sounds a little bit, I saw a piece of corpse fall between you and touch one of you. Piece of corpse fell between them. Maybe a bird picked a piece of corpse and dropped it. And it fell between you and touched one of you, but I could not tell which one of you it touched. So that would be an example. Now, it is interesting that the Mishnah says we're talking about that one person said it. If it's only one person who said it, it has to be that the two Nazirim don't contradict and say, no, nothing like that happened. If they were to contradict them and say nothing like that happened, none of the discussion that's going to come up now would be relevant, because the one witness is not believed like that. A one witness is not going to be believed if basically he's being contradicted, even by the person who he's testifying about. But the case is that this one person says to both of them, "This is what happened." They don't contradict it. They may have no idea, but they don't contradict it. And therefore, they both are now kind of stuck. They both have a situation where they have a suffix, did they become tamei or not? Now, what that means is that one of them has to start all over again, right? And one of them just finishes up, but we don't know which one. And that creates two major problems. Let me read to you how they bring this down in the introduction. On the one hand, a Nazir who becomes tamei must shave his head before he can begin counting his Naziris again. Right? You got to shave, bring karbanis, bring sacrifices, start all over again. On the other hand, the Nazir who is not tamei is forbidden to shave his head until his term ends. So if you're in doubt, you're stuck. Because what are you supposed to do? You can't cut your hair because maybe you're not tamei. But you can't finish your Naziris because maybe you are tamei, and you can't start and you can't start all over again to eventually complete it unless you go through the process of cutting your hair and bringing the sacrifices. So that's one problem. The other problem is the fact that a Nazir who is tar and ending his term of Naziris brings one set of sacrifices, and a person who is tamei brings another set of sacrifices. So which one does he bring? And you can't just bring both, because these are all obligatory sacrifices. An obligatory sacrifice, you have to be obligated to bring them. If you want to sanctify them as the sacrifice they need to be, you have to be obligated to them. You can't just say, if you're not liable for a carbon chatas or a sin offering, you can't just say, I'm declaring it a sin offering. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. So these are the problems which these people face. So what do they do about it? That's the question. What do they do about it? So here is what the answer is. It's going to be a little bit complicated, but this is what they got to do. So the Mishnah says, megalchen, they shave their head. Right? You up to there? You got that? Yeah? Now, there's actually a part that's missing. And the part that's missing is the following. That actually even before they go ahead and they shave their head, they continue to observe the laws of Naziris until 30 days have passed from the time they began their Naziris. We are talking about a case of two people who took upon themselves to be Nazirim at the same time, or at least on the same day, and for the same amount of time. And let's say 30 days. They took on the minimum Naziris. Okay? So the first thing is, if you're already day 15 in, do another 15 days. Finish 30 days. And at that point, megalchen, And at that point, as the Mishnah reads Megalchen, they shave their heads because, as we say, manavshach, either way, whether they are the tameh or whether they're tar. If they're tameh, they should have been cutting their hair even before. If they're not tameh, they were the tar one. They were tar. I mean, each one. Looking at each one. If he is tameh, he could have cut his hair before. If he's tar, he finished his term of Naziris. Okay? So we've come to a point where there's no problem with cutting your hair. Because even if you're tar, you've done your 30 days. Okay? Now, but that takes care of that cutting the hair. What about the sacrifices? What do you do? So the Mishna says, Imavian karban tuma v'karban tahara. And they bring a set of animals to be brought for the sacrifices for becoming tameh, and a set of animals for the carbon of when you've completed your Naziris, and you become and meaning not because you're tameh, you're pure, but you complete your Naziris. So you bring one set of one and one set of the other. They both bring it. They both bring it.
Both sets?
No, one of each. That's important. Okay, it's not two sets of each. It's one set. That's going to be basically shared between them. V'omer, and he says, meaning one of the Nazirim says, Imani hu atamei, if I'm the one who is impure, then carbon tuma shali, then the set of animals for the carbon of impurity are mine, the carbon tara shalcha, and the set of animals for the carbon of purity, meaning for the completion of Naziris, is yours. V'mani hu atar, and if I'm the tar one, then carbon tahara shali, then the carbon of purity is mine. The carbon to meshalcha, the carbon of impurity is yours. You follow that? Basically, they say, we have a set here of carbonis for becoming tameh. We have a set of carbonis for becoming tahara.
Who brought them?
Together they brought them. And the point is that they basically make up whatever I am. Right? I mean, if I'm the tahar one, then the carbonis the carbonis for complete Naziris are mine, and the other ones are yours. If it's the other way around, then it's the other way around. So now they went ahead and they brought the carbonis, and they basically worked it out that whichever one they're obligated to bring is theirs. Okay? However, there was one of them who was tameh, right? And if there's one of them who's tameh, then he's got to finish up, right? He's got to start all over again, right? If he was tameh, he can't just like, okay, I brought the carbonis, it's done. It's not. The whole point of now for him shaving his head and bringing the carbonis allows him to start all over again. But we don't know which one that is, right? We don't know which one was the one who was tameh. So what do you do next? Says the Mishnah, V'sayif shleishim yoyim. And then together they count another 30 days of Naziris. Okay? They both keep Naziris for another 30 days. And now, at this point, right? At this point, basically, one of them was really done before, and one of them is finishing now. Umavian carbon tahara. And together they bring a set of animals that will be used for the carbon of purity, meaning for concluding the Naziris. V'omer, and again, one of them says, doesn't make a difference who says it. Imani hu atamei, if I'm the one that was tamei, meaning I was one who became tamei before, then carbon tuma shali, then the carbon tuma, then the set of animals brought for the carbon of a Nazir became tamei, the ones that were brought before, not now, before, those are mine. The carbon tahara shalcha, and the previous carbon tahara, meaning the set of animals brought for a Nazir who was tar and completing his Naziris, those were yours. Vizeh, and this set of animals, carbon tarasi, are the carbon of my purity, because I'm now completing the tahara. I was the one who was tamei before. I started all over again, and now I'm bringing my carbon of tahara. Okay, so it's my carbon, and you have a good day. You don't got to do anything. V'manihu atar, and if I was the one who was before the pure one, carbon tahara shali, then the carbon tahara, then the set of animals brought for a carbon of a Nazir who was tar and completing his Naziris, those that we did before were mine. The carbon tuma shalach, and the set of animals used for the carbon of a Nazir became tamei were yours. V'zeh carbon tarascha, and now this set of animals is your carbon of a Nazir who is a Nazir who remained pure who is pure and completed his Naziris. So basically, this is the whole thing that has to be done to cover all the issues. Because by doing this, they have by waiting and basically redoing the Naziris again, they're able to cover all the different possibilities with all the different carbonas, and basically saying that depending on what and what I was, depending on what you was, that is which set of animals was for us before, and then now when the other 30 days of Naziris are done. Okay, to be continued. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi.